welcome to the last official day, the Q&A today. So we will be answering a lot of questions, discussing a lot of concepts. Yesterday, so something happened the day before. I sent an email to my whole email list, an email that I was not supposed to send. It was actually, I was setting up a new automation on MailChimp, and I just set it up, and I thought that it will be sent to everyone who signs up now, but it ended up sending it to everyone that had already signed up. And I thought that, oh, I made a mistake, and some people might be annoyed to see this, like, what is this? What does this mean? Makes no sense. But I ended up receiving a lot of replies to the question that I asked in that email. I just let it be. I didn't send like a sorry email or anything. And I received so many replies in my inbox. I was like surprised to see so many emails in my inbox. And by that reason, I also received a lot of questions, valuable questions that I would like to discuss. So I selected some of them. All right, so let's begin. I would like to know what are your takeaways from day 1 to day 3. If you watched the replays or if you watched it live, any questions that have come up, any aha moments, any realizations, anything you learned. The first question. So let me share the Word document actually where I have all the questions. The first question that I have here is how to get out from constantly feeling lost, confused, and without any reason in my life. A lot of us are in this state in today's world, and that is very unfortunate. But this is how, again, I will mention that this is how we are being trained. We are being trained to be disconnected with ourselves, be dependent on external validation, external sources of happiness, external sources of gratification, satisfaction, and basically, wanting all these things on the external side rather than inculcating and developing satisfaction internally. And the number one thing I would like to share is that, so we are not supposed to know everything. First of all, imagine if we knew everything, if we knew everything about our life, then what fun would it be? Then what would be the point of coming here, right? So we aren't supposed to know everything, and that is for a very good reason. The second thing that I want to share is that we need to develop self-trust, and we need to develop trust in the universe. So both of these things go hand in hand because we are a part of this universe. The universe is manifesting as us, as we discussed in the previous days. So developing self-trust, developing trust in the universe go hand in hand, right? So if you are struggling with developing self-trust, you can begin with developing trust in the universe first. And it could be just a matter of belief. So just flipping your belief that, okay, the universe is looking after me. It has sent me to do something here. It has not just left me without any guidance. There is guidance available and I can tap into it. And if I talk to the universe, I can literally converse with it, and it will guide me where I need to go. And when you begin doing that, you also develop self-trust. So self-trust can also be developed by being consistent and making small promises to yourself and fulfilling them. So as an example, if you make promise to yourself that I will sleep on time, I will sleep at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. and basically if you don't, if you end up scrolling or if you end up doing something else and you don't sleep on time, then you obviously feel bad after that, right? So that is because we are not fulfilling our own promises. So in order to develop self-trust in a big way, begin developing self-trust in small ways first. So if you promise yourself you're going to sleep on time, then sleep on time. And that should be a non-negotiable when it comes to self, right? And you can take an example of any small thing in the whole day as well. If you promised yourself that you'll go on a walk in the morning, or you will drink a certain amount of water, then do it. Then make sure that you do it. Okay, so this is how you develop self-trust, and you develop it also with consistency. So when you consistently follow your own promises, then you are able to develop self-trust. So yes, Gargi, you shared in the Facebook group as well that you took so many insights, wonderful insights from these 3 days. Number 1, authenticity. Number 2, chakra healing and meditation. So that is a game changer if you begin doing that. So when I read my human design chart, there were so many doubts that I had in my mind, and so many intuitive messages that I already had, but there was no confirmation for them. But when I read my chart, I was like confirming everything, and that really validated everything I thought about myself, my own journey, and it really helped me to uh, be authentically authentic. Right? So being fearless to express that authenticity. All right, so let's continue on this first question's answer. So develop self-trust, develop trust in the universe. So you also develop self-trust by knowing yourself deeply, right? So if you don't know yourself, how can you develop self-trust? How do you know what kind of person you are, and where you need to trust yourself, and where you need to seek help from others, right? So the more you get to know yourself, the more you develop your self-trust, right? So again, developing trust in the universe is something about also removing control in your life. Things that are out of our control. So we know like there are things out of our control in life, but even then we try to control them so much, right? So we need not control everything in our life, and it is a good thing because there is a higher intelligence to us, and our point of view is very, very narrow as a human being, and we should be, I think, humble in that regards and leave some control to the universe, and let the universe guide us, let the universe mold our reality in the way that it wants to, right? So the next thing is to get out of constantly feeling lost and confused without any reason, is to calm your nervous system. So your whole body is your nervous system, right? It's everywhere, right? And we have mainly 2 types of nervous system, that is sympathetic and parasympathetic. Also we have autonomic and voluntary, but in the autonomic we have sympathetic and parasympathetic. So your sympathetic nervous system is the one that activates your fight and flight response. Again, we talked about this in day 2, I think, where I shared how when we are in fight or flight, we are unable to think, we are unable to make reasonable choices, we are unable to judge, and we end up making impulsive decisions, and we end up having animal like behavior where we have no reasoning, right? So calm your nervous system every single day. As soon as we wake up, our body secretes, releases cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. It releases to make us ready for the day, right? It's not a bad thing when it is released when we really need it, right? But because of the daily stresses, because of the way we are growing up, it keeps getting released without any reason as well, right? So we need to calm our nervous system. We need to tell our nervous system that it is safe. And if you do your chakra healing meditations, chanting, yoga, any of those things, that will really help you to calm your nervous system on an everyday basis, right? And once you make it a habit, your nervous system says, okay, I understand. It is not you are not in danger, and then it will stay calm for an extended period of time, right? So again, calm your nervous system, heal your traumas. So what happens is when you calm your nervous system, your traumas will come up, because before you were not letting your traumas come up to be healed. Now when you're calming, your traumas will come up, and you will be able to heal them. And the more you heal them, the more you get in touch with yourselves, and there will be less and less of your confusion, right? So also spend time with yourself. This is something that we don't do a lot these days. we have forgotten how to spend time with ourselves, because there is always some kind of a gadget in our hands where we spend time mostly scrolling. Nothing wrong with that unless done in a very controlled manner, when you know what you're doing. Otherwise, if you just are scrolling mindlessly, then it is going to affect you on multiple levels. So there is a psychological level, there is the fact that you are ignoring your emotions, right, instead of sitting with them. And then we also get affected by whatever images, videos, messages, subliminals that we see on the social media all the time. And also because we are doing it in a hypnotic state. So when you are sitting and scrolling mindlessly, we are in a hypnotic state, and our subconscious mind is open to suggestion. And whatever we see, especially if we are looking at war, if we are looking at all these different arguments happening around the world, politics, etc., all of that is going to affect our mind, and it is going to show up in a way that we don't know where it is coming from, right? So that is why we constantly feel lost and confused without any reason. But we we think that there is no reason, but there is actually, right? So spend time with yourself without distractions, right? So this again comes under developing self trust. So journal. So dump all your so-called negative emotions. So even when you are confused, frustrated, feeling lost, open your dumping journal and dump all your negative emotions there. Then it is done. Okay. Then you can open your positive journal and you can journal everything from self-compassion, self-care, positive affirmations, positive thoughts, dreams, plans, and anything you want to tell your inner child. You can write all of that in your positive journal, right? So again, learn tools for self-healing, healing, guidance. It's not necessary to know why you are feeling a certain way. Not always. Sometimes it is, but not always. So if you're constantly feeling lost and confused, it's not necessary to know the reason. So stop looking for reason why you are feeling sad. Instead, begin to do all the things that I taught you, that I shared with you in all these 3 days in order to help you get back on track. Also, as I shared, that you need to have a list of pick-me-ups where you can use all those things when you need to show up. Otherwise, when you have time for yourself, it is advised to actually sit with the feelings and process them, or uh, take part in any of the modalities, use any of the modalities, and process those emotions. And process those emotions primarily through the body and then from the mind as well. So basically, when you begin healing emotions through the body, they will automatically be resolved. All right. So learn tools for self-healing and guidance. And some of them I shared on day 2 and day 3 as well. And again, sometimes we need to learn certain self-healing tools for guidance and guidance from particular teachers. And that is what I did in my journey as well. I knew the importance of getting a particular teacher, because then you are getting one-on-one advice on your particular journey, your personalized journey, because generalized advice is just generalized advice. It may work for some people, it may not work. It may bring out things that you don't know what to do with, right? So many different factors. So it's good to follow generalized advice, but also get a teacher whenever you can. So I always had a teacher from one stage to another, and there have been teachers that have been constant throughout the journey. Some teachers only taught me a particular modality, and have been fortunate again to be in touch with them. And the things that they have taught me are going to stay with me for my whole life, right? So again, whenever I'm feeling constantly lost, confused, I know exactly what to do at that time, right? Allow yourself to receive. So we in the society, like, we are always focusing on doing, and doing everything by ourselves. It doesn't have to be that way. So allow yourself to receive also. Receive what? Receive help, receive care, receive support, whatever it is, right? Education, knowledge. So allow yourself to receive as well, also love. So let's move on to the second question, which is a umbrella question that I asked in that email that I sent. Something that's stopping you from growing and living your life to the fullest. What would it be? So these are some of the answers I received in the email. So this was a something consistent. The first one, which is the self-belief. So basically, the person is saying that their a lack of self-belief is stopping them from growing and living their life to the fullest, right? So I would ask, what is the reason that you don't believe in yourself? So again, if you just sit and meditate on this question, I think it's going to bring a lot of past experiences, past traumas, things that you might have heard from other people, incidents that might have happened that created this belief in the first place, right? And this might even go to your inner child, your childhood, where your self-belief was crushed. And if it is possible for you to go to the root cause of this, then it's good. But if it is not possible, then also you can heal from this. So dive deep. Okay, so don't just be like, okay, I have lack of self-belief. Go deeper. What is the reason that you don't believe in yourself, right? So go to your inner child. Remember, when was the first time you felt that you didn't believe in yourself, that you couldn't trust yourself, that you had to follow what other people said by defying your own intuition, or by defying your own decisions, what you wanted to do, you had to sacrifice. So what was that time, right? So create self-belief. Again, create self-belief. Even if you don't know the reason, you can still create self-belief. And I discussed some things above here on the first question. Develop self-trust. So how? Again, calming your nervous system, healing your traumas, spending time with yourself without distractions, journaling, dumping all your negative emotions, and journaling in your positive journal, learning tools for self-healing and guidance, getting a teacher wherever possible, and allowing yourself to receive. So all of these things you can do to create self-belief again, right? So consistency, and make promises to yourself. So I will add simple promises to yourself and complete them. Okay, and even if you are not able to complete them one time, have self-compassion. So don't beat yourself up if you don't complete something. So this is how you create your self-belief. And again, this is a step-by-step process, because your nervous system is adapted to lack of self-belief. Add lack of self-belief. So it will take obviously a habit forming to create self-belief, right? So it will take some time, but with consistency, you will be able to do it. So second thing that is stopping people from expressing their fullest self is ability to express myself is diminished when other people don't praise my talent. So basically, this is again something that is related to self-belief. And this is again basically keeping the source of your validation externally, right? So if you have a certain talent, if you have a certain intuition, if you are able to channel art, or if you're able to have ideas, but you don't practice them because other people told you that they are not good, or they are not being accepted in the society, or if they think that this is not possible, there are naysayers, right? And there will always be naysayers, by the way. So you can pick up anything in your life, any small thing or any big thing, There will always be naysayers, and they are not always doing it from a bad intention. Their intentions might be even good for you, but since they don't believe, they also don't believe it for you, right? Happens because we are basing our we are dependent on other people's validation to express. So for that, this again, we have to come back to our authenticity. Again, use tools and knowledge that I shared in all 3 days to come back to your authenticity, right? So when you know who you are, and you naturally become fearless when you know who you are. And when that is validated by human design, when that is validated by, let's say, a tarot card reading or a third person who comes up, people don't praise somebody's talent, they can be discouraged. On the other hand, there might be people who, let's say, are not that good at their talent, that they can go professionally and do it, but they are, let's say, very good, like championing people around them, and they are telling him, oh, you are so good and all that. And they might just be so confident, and they might just be successful just because of their confidence, right? And we have seen that happening time and again on the internet and in the world in general. So again, authenticity, heal chakras for this, and be fearless. So again, I say be fearless, but how do you just be fearless like that? When you get to know yourself and validate that through different tools, fearlessness comes naturally. And when you heal yourself, again, fearlessness comes naturally, right? So be fearless in your self-expression, and you don't need anybody's permission to express yourself. So whatever it is that is coming from within you, if you like to do it, just do it. That's the only reason you need. You don't need anybody's permission, validation. Even if people come around and say that this is not good, this is not acceptable, still do it. And in this time and age, we are so fortunate, we are so privileged that you can go online with whatever talent it is. And yes, initially you might find people leaving hate comments, leaving comments like you are cringe or something, but you will still find your audience, right? And the people who tell other people that they are cringe are actually the people who have their own self-expression stifled, right? So people only treat other people in the same way that they treat themselves, right? All right, so yeah, do it just because you want to. Doesn't even matter if it is good or bad talent. Again, as I said, doesn't even matter what level it is. So the next question we have here is being stuck to the past and unable to let go of what once was. So this is again something that we all, most of us, struggle with, letting go of the past. And this is because our ego, our identity is attached to a past version of ourselves. And again, we can have a long discussion about psychology, about trauma here as well. So whenever you are traumatized at any age, our mind basically gets stuck in that time. It is unable to move forward until and unless that trauma is released and healed. So if there is something that happened in the past, our identity begins to identify with that version of ourselves. And I just heard this in a podcast yesterday that since I work with a psychology company who also work with refugees, they have a podcast, so I was listening to it. And the speaker mentioned that there are some refugees that come here, and when he asks them, tell me about yourself, instead of saying that I used to be a doctor there, I want to be a doctor here as well, so tell me how to proceed. Instead of saying this, they always say that I had this happened to me. My family supposedly died. This was taken away from me. My home was destroyed, etc., etc., etc. And now I'm here. I crossed the borders with great difficulty, and now I'm hungry. So all of these things, of course, these are true, but our ego identity becomes stuck in this. And instead of looking forward, that okay, I'm here now, what I have to do going forward, it just looks in the past and remains stuck to that identity, and introduces himself or themselves to the world as that identity. And that is very natural, but it is something to be worked on. So most recommended thing here you might find people telling you is therapy, and that is very good. If you have the resources, if you can go for it, please definitely go for it. The second thing I would advise is, again, we are multidimensional, so we need multidimensional healing, body-based healing modalities. So since mind can be stuck in various jumbled worlds that it makes up on its own, and therefore therapy, yes, it is very effective, but it also has a ceiling. And at some point, if somebody is completely ignoring their body-based modalities and just taking therapy, at some point they will have to shift to body-based healing modalities as well, along with the mind therapy. So again, why this is because heavy energy needs to be moved, right? This is the life force energy, the pran shakti, which needs to be moved in the body as well, because trauma gets stored in the body. That has been scientifically proven. So if it is stored in the body, why are we only and only solely focusing on the mind, right? So body-based healing modalities, heavy energy needs to be moved. And also body-based healing modalities, again, they calm the nervous system, which is the one system that is controlling your thoughts, your hormones, your everything, right? And of course, our body is our vessel. Body is our vessel. So how the body feels is how the mind feels, right? And our body is a manifestation of our energies, right? And also you will need to, okay, I'll give examples of body-based healings, such as Reiki healing, such as exercise, exercise, physiotherapy, what else? Anything like dance, singing even. Singing is so great because of our throat chakra is our self-expression. And if your self-expression is blocked in any way, sing like nobody's listening. Dance, singing, walking, grounding. So all of these things are body-based healing modalities, and it is very good to do them while you are doing your therapy as well. So for this as well, go to your inner child as well, because the 95% of our problems are based in our inner child. And letting go. Again, you can't just let go just like that. You have to process your emotions first. So you process your emotions with therapy, with body-based healing modalities, and let go. So when you let go mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you are able to create space for something new, right? Create space for something new, and you allow the universe to take charge, right? So it also helps in manifesting. So the next thing is, somebody replied me to the email with they need more willingness, fun, and vitality to do that. To do what? To grow and live your life to the fullest. So why there is less willingness, less fun, and less vitality is again because we need healing, right? We need to release trauma, heavy energy. So whenever you are here, always begin by releasing whatever it is, pent up emotions, anything that is. And again, you can use various different modalities to do this. Okay, and more willingness is again related to your commitment, commitment to yourself, right? So if you are willing for something, you will be willing for something only when you are committed to yourself, right? So another question that was very good is, the one thing that stops me from growing is obviously the fear of failure. If I cannot succeed, it may impact me along with my family, and failure sucks out all our confidence, whatever is left over. So this is a very in-depth question, in-depth statement, and I feel that it is coming directly from, of course, very impactful experiences that this person might have gone through. So again, here we need certain types of understanding about what failure is. So nothing is a failure, by the way. Whatever happens in your life, there is nothing like a failure. So you can remove this word from your dictionary. Okay. And the second thing is that everything is a lesson, right? So nothing is a failure, everything is a lesson, and you learn from your mistakes, so-called mistakes. You learn from your failure, and these things are meant to help us grow into the person who actually succeeds, so-called success, whatever it means. And there is no specific definition of success or failure. This question is again coming from being fearful. So fear is being ingrained into us since childhood for everything, right? That if you don't study, if you don't get the grades, then you will fail, you will have to repeat the class, and that is very shameful. And again, you will be left behind your peers. What will they say? What will they think about you? What will the society think about you? And this goes on and on and on and on, right? So it is being ingrained into us at a very deep level. So we have to work on shifting our mindset around it very consciously, right? So there will always be ups and downs in life. There will always be ups and downs in life. So even if you heal, even if you know your human design, even if you're authentic, you are living your design, yes, you will be manifesting your soul aligned desires, but it doesn't come with the fact that yes, there will always be ups and downs in life, because that is how this earth experience has been designed, right? So why fear something that you know that is going to happen? Because it might happen, there is always a chance. Instead, again, I will repeat that, equip yourself with tools, knowledge, resources that will always help you. So this is why investment in your self-development is the most important thing that anybody should be doing, because even if you lose everything in your life, you still have yourself. And I'm saying this statement from experience. I did lose everything in my life, every single thing you can think of at one time, at one point of time. And I sailed through that time. In that time I sailed through it. Obviously it hit me with PTSD later, but during that time I sailed through it. Why? Because I had this knowledge with me, I had all my skills with me. Me as a person was a very well invested human, right? So I knew, I had self belief that let anything happen to me, I can still stand up, I can still get back. And it is not it is not something that's impossible. It's not the end all, not the end of the world for me, right? So invest in your self development, that is most important. And when family comes into the picture, because in this case the person is worried about their family, then it is even more important, because you are responsible for certain people in your life, right? And you also have an impact on them. You also have an impact on their self-belief, on their learning, on their ability to invest in themselves when they see you, right? When they see you that you are doing these things, you are investing in yourself, you are making up to yourself to be someone who can handle anything. So they also have a positive impact. They also learn from you that, okay, I also have to do the same thing. And this is why when it comes to a family, then it becomes even more important, right? And in this case as well, survival is foremost. So when somebody doesn't have the money to eat food, doesn't have shelter, doesn't have water, then the foremost thing is survival. Again, why? Because that's your root chakra. Your root chakra is the one that connects you to the earth, earthly living. So if your survival is threatened, then that is the foremost thing that you should be taking care of first. So even if it means doing something that you don't want to do, right? Let's say a survival job, or something that is not aligned to your purpose. But because survival is foremost, since you will only be able to progress spiritually above, let's say, sacral, navel chakra, heart chakra, only if your survival is taken care of, right? Food, water, shelter. So survival is foremost. So take care of that first, and then you can go to the rest of the chakras later. So let's move on to the next question, which is your future uncertainty. Again, this is something that is very common. So they mentioned, as nobody can predict the future, you never know where you will be landed and with what all in your hand. Things you are desiring most may slip over, and you are left with the same broken heart and could never heal yourself again. Again, future uncertainty is always going to be there, is always going to be there. So why are we afraid of it? It is something I think that we should just accept, because there is no way that you can predict the future unless you are the physical embodiment of astrology, is what I discussed in the last day. So future uncertainty is always going to be there, and also future is flexible. Sure, there are some things that cannot be changed, that are fixed, but most of it is flexible. So it doesn't matter what you do today, tomorrow, anything could always change. So there is no point in having fear of something that is constantly going to be there, that is again constantly out of our control. So being in the present is the topmost thing that we can do here. Again, this is something we have to learn, because we are not used to this, being in the present. And also your healing your nervous system helps with this. So your nervous system goes to your past and present only because it has certain kind of traumatic energy in it. It thinks that you are in danger, therefore it is always constantly in the past or thinking about the future. So if you heal your nervous system, you become more present naturally. And it is also practice. So there will be a lot of times when a lot of intrusive thoughts come, and that is completely natural. Even I have a lot of intrusive thoughts now as well, but you have to constantly flip them. So when an intrusive thought comes, be a third hand observer and let the thought run its course. When it's done its thing, just replace it with the opposite thought, a positive one. And the more you do it, the more practice you get, and the better it becomes, right? Yeah, so again, build self-trust here as well. Self-trust is coming all the way. Gather tools, knowledge, learn from everything, be adaptable. Again, adaptability is a huge skill that you always want to have. And build a healthy ego. I discussed what is healthy ego on day 1, so you can go back if you want to see that, what is a healthy ego. And the guidance and systems that I share with you help you do all of these things. So since future is uncertain, whenever you are worried about something, there are certain guidance systems that you can use. And they also are not going to predict the future, but they are going to guide you on how to take the next step, or what to do in the present, or what to do in the present. And the good thing about these systems is that they take care of your energy, they take care of your mind, they take care of how you might be feeling in your body. And one of those systems is psychic reading that I also teach in the paid Manifest by Design program, and also human design. But human design can teach you, yes, what is your authentic self, what is your intuition, but it won't show you what's going on right now in this moment, in this particular issue, right? For that, you need psychic reading, which is what I do for myself as well as for a lot of clients. And once you learn how to do it, it is a complete game changer for your life as well as your manifestations. So let's go to the next question, which is, I feel like I don't want to do anything. Everything feels a waste. I don't want to see anything. So this statement again is coming from a very, I would say, uh, deep experience that person might be having. So again, this is a sign of something or that is labeled as depression. But don't be sad listening to just this word. It is not something that is your identity, right? It is a state of being, and state of being can be changed, right? So again, here we need multidimensional. So first of all, we need to get rid of, or we need to release. Get rid is kind of a very negative connotation to it, but we need to release heavy energy in the form of journaling, shaking your body. Again, your body stores all this energy. So shake your body, dance, sing, use any kind of body-based modality such as Reiki, physiotherapy, jumping rope is a very good activity for this. So release the heavy energy, or even you can do yoga poses that I showed you for each chakra. So release the heavy energy first. And this also, when you shake your body, when you move your body, also hormones are released that counteract depressive symptoms, right? And move your life force. So with your body, you are moving your life force, but you could also use energy healing systems to move your life force. And then for the mind, you could go for some therapy, and you could go for mindfulness practices. You could go for grounding. Again, grounding is both mind and body. So there are so many grounding practices available online, and you can use those to help you get connected back to yourself and to the earth. Also, work on your root chakra first. So your very existence, or your very connection with the earthly life is being compromised in this case. So work on your root chakra first, and just work on that for now. And I think when you work on this, the rest will be taken care of. And the other things that you can do here is gather a support system. So if you have a support system around you, go to them, speak up, and ask for help. If you don't have a support system, then there are ways that you can look for one, look for communities, so many ways to do it, right? And reach out, because there are people who would gladly help you out of this and gladly support you, whatever it is. And take a lot of rest, and sleep is very important in this case, because nervous system is in the state of overload basically. So you need to rest, sleep as well, and allow yourself to receive. So when somebody comes to help, don't shoo them off, allow yourself receive. And remember that you are not alone, and it is possible to reconnect with joy within, and you can go step by step. So step by step. Okay, so that is all about this question, and I hope this helps a lot of people out there. So the next thing is my limiting beliefs, which is the cause of my desperation, my anxiety, my attachments, not knowing my authenticity till this age. This is what was stopping them from reaching their fullest potential. Limiting beliefs can come from n number of places. So if possible, find out the root of your limiting belief. So if possible, not always possible, but that's okay. If not possible, or if it is not happening, then heal from the body first. So you can do this anytime. You can heal from the body first, even if you know the root cause. But if you definitely don't know the root cause, then heal from the body first. Again, body-based modalities you can use. So again, they themselves wrote that there is desperation. Obviously, this is coming from a place of lack. So desperation comes from a place of feeling lack. So there can be lack in anything that you might be feeling. There can be actual lack that is being reflected in your physical reality, or you might be thinking that you lack something. So both the things can be changed. It's just a change of mindset, because as I discussed before as well, that we are born abundant. We are born with everything that we are supposed to be getting, right? It's the actions of other people when we are a child, and our own actions when we are an adult, that take away those things from our reality. So go back to that same mindset again, that we are born abundant, and there is nothing as an adult that somebody can take away from you unless you want it to, unless you let them do it, right? So change your mindset around desperation. And again, my anxiety is coming from, again, feeling that you don't have control over something. Again, go back to the previous answers. My attachments, again, we are attached to things because there is a void regarding those things within our own identity. So again, go back to the healthy ego, unhealthy ego, and not knowing my authenticity. And you can know your authenticity using all the different methods that I shared in these 3 days. So there are a few questions left here and a few questions in the chat. So let's take a 5-minute break and come back, and then we will continue. So trying to manifest a specific person, unable to get into someone's life, or trying to get into a relationship. Now, this is a very, very nuanced question and answer, and very important thing to discuss, especially when it comes to the manifestation community, because I see so many people telling other people that they can manifest a specific person, get a text from them, get them to call you, get them to do this and that. And this is just like, if you watched Harry Potter, this is just like giving someone a love potion and then having a relationship with them in that state. You cannot have control over the other person in a way that you take away their free will and then have a genuine relationship with them. And even if you do, the product of that relationship, whether it's a baby or even if it's not a baby, even if you are leading your life with that person in any way, and that is not going to be useful to anyone or good for anyone. And there are so many things that are so-called wrong with this. And this is, I feel, it comes under the territory of abuse and trying to manifest a specific person or unable to, or trying to get into someone's life. This is again comes under a lot of manipulation. And I am not trying to like shame anybody on this. I totally understand where somebody might be coming from when they want to do this. I wasn't trying to like manifest a specific person in my life at any time, but I did like really want a specific person to like me, right? And now that I have done the self work, self healing, and I am at a place where I am never going to even think about this. Now I look back and I think that oh my god, like what was I even thinking? What was I even doing? That is so wrong, right? So trying to manifest a specific person is defying their free will, trying to overstep a lot of boundaries, right? So the answer to this is simply like, this is something I never tell someone do not do this, but this is one thing that I will say: do not manifest a specific person that you do not want to do in any case. Okay, so this is again because you're defying their free will, you're overstepping a lot of boundaries, and you are basically, in this case, if you are wanting to do this, I would ask you to examine the why. So why do you want to do it, right? And meditate on this. Why are you wanting to do this? And most probably, more often than not, this would have come from, again, from a disconnect with yourself, from a lack of self-love and self-respect, right? So this is something again related to the self, and we need to work on ourselves to build a healthy ego and base our self-love, base our self-respect on ourselves and not other people, right? So again, let go of control over other people, what they do, and time to get into a relationship. Also, the last line, I would ask the question, why do you want to get into a relationship? So answer this question as well and see if this answer takes you to an answer that is uh, that displays lack of self-love, lack of self-respect, lack of self-knowing, right? So if your answer to this is, I want a relationship because I just want to spend my life with another person who I like, I just want to have a best friend in my life. So if these are your answers, good, that's all right. But if you want a relationship just because everybody is getting into just because that is expected of you in the society, or just because it looks cool, or just because there can be also a reason that I want to love someone, I want to pour my love onto someone, and yes, that is a very valid reason, but you cannot do it without their permission, without their free will, right? So these are the answers that I had for this question. Yes, so in this case, you want to build a relationship with yourself first. So just take few steps back come back and forget about the relationships outside. Build a relationship with yourself first and be the person who you would want as a life partner or girlfriend or whatever, boyfriend, whatever it is. Okay, or even friendships. So friend. So this applies to all kinds of relationships, by the way, not just romantic. So be the person who you would want as a life partner or a friend or whatever. And again, this can be a whole journey. It might not be possible for you to do it in one day or 1 week. And again, if it is about your parents or somebody in the family, then become your own parent or caregiver or best friend or lover. Of course, when you become your own parent, there are again nuances to this, because you might need help from outside. So instead, if you start becoming your own parent and taking up responsibilities for yourself, such as fulfilling your own desires, like the things that you did not get to do as a child, then yes, that can be very fulfilling, but it can also feel very taxing, because now you are taking on this responsible role that you did not take before. So always, like, there are nuances to these things, but you can always become your best friend, right? So become your own best friend and stand up for yourself, right? And it is not natural. As humans, we need companionship, we need community, and we need to be in partnerships as a human. But like, if you think about friendships, do you think about your friends as, is this the one? You don't, right? Because there is not an expectation to no expectation to be the perfect one, right? But why is that an expectation from a romantic relationship? So always focus on building friendships, because friendships are the base of all kinds of relationships. So if a romantic relationship is not based on a genuine friendship, then of course it is going to go downhill at some point in life. So there has to be focus on building friendships first, and every other kind of relationship can be built on top of that. Okay, so don't do anything that you do in your genuine friendships in your romantic relationships, right? So whatever you do in your genuine friendships, treat your romantic relationships in the same way, and work on, again, a lot of stuff when it comes to romantic relationships, right? A complete person. Now, again, no one is perfect. No one is 100% complete, but we are a lifelong work in progress, right? So work on it. No perfection. There is no perfection. Everybody has things that they always need to work on. So there should be understanding, love, compassion, again, boundaries. So if there is something that you don't want the other person to overstep you on, something, things like, um, if I come from work, don't jump on me right away telling me stories about their work, right? Workplace. So let me settle down, let me have a cup of tea, let me have quiet 1 hour. After that, you can share your stories. So these kinds of things, right? So understanding, love, compassion, boundaries, and values. So what are your values? So find people capable of self-awareness, self-growth, who are investing in themselves in any way, not just money, but in any way, and open-minded and compatible by nature. So there can be two people who are not wrong in their own place, but it could be just that their natures are incompatible. So find someone who is compatible by nature, and again, you can use, surprisingly, human design here. So you can use your, of course, I always say, don't just read other people's human design and judge them right away that, okay, this is how the person is going to be, because there is conditioning that you don't know that has happened. There is self-growth that you don't know that has happened. So use human design, and then to see that, okay, where does the other person lack in the, let's say there are chakras that they are open to conditioning there. So you know that if that chakra is colored in my chart, then I can take up that responsibility in the relationship, right? So, and the other person can be on the background. And if there is something that they can make up to, then you can be on the background. So again, it becomes your, both of your human designs become one, and then you can see what are the areas that you both need to work on. Right, so as an example, I'm a generator, my throat chakra is not colored in, my third eye is not colored in, so I cannot come up with ideas. I, like, for the life of me, whenever there is something that we have to do together, I cannot just come up with ideas. And he before he used to always force me to come up with ideas for cooking, for traveling, for anything. And I was like, I don't know anything about coming up with an idea. You come up with an idea and I'll do the work, because I'm a generator. I'm meant to be working. I'm meant to be spending my energy to work. So he's a projector. He's supposed to project his ideas. So when I read the chart and I told him that, see, you are the projector. Since you always come up with such good ideas, why don't you take up this responsibility and just leave me to work on the idea? So we started doing that ever since studying our human design, and it has been great. Right, before there used to be like, why are you forcing me, I cannot come up with this, why, you know? So yeah, you can work on these things as well using human design. So once you begin doing these things, all the things that you can do on your own, you might manifest a harmonious relationship. And once again, you don't have to be 100% healed to be manifesting, to be attracting a person who is ideal for you, right? You don't have to be. You just have to step on the path of self-healing. And if they are meant to come along in that time, they will. And if they are not meant to come along at that time, you would not need them. You would be fully self-sufficient, happy with yourself, and you would not mind not there not being a romantic partnership at that time, right? So that is all about these. And yeah, I would also like to add one more thing just from my notes. I saw open communication. This is something very important that most of us do not learn when we grow up in the society. So whatever it is, expressing it in a very normal tone and expressing your feelings, learning how to communicate is also a skill, by the way. That is why people go to couples therapy, because we are not usually taught. So Gargi had asked how to remove the conditioning from our already activated chakras. So first of all our chakras are always active. So it's not like any of them are closed. It's just that there might be less energy or more energy in some. I know you're talking about the conditioning from human design, if I'm not wrong, right? So how to remove the conditioning? So this is where shadow work comes into play, right? So just put it in the chat. Remove conditioning with self-healing. Again, any modality, follow it for a considerable amount of time so that it is actually able to help you. So don't just do it once and think that it's going to do something. Self-healing and shadow work in particular. And your shadow work you can do from human design or specifically from gene keys as well. As I discussed in day 3, gene keys are even more condensed version of human design, and the gene keys focus specifically on shadow work. So you can use that, and also therapy is also one way to do shadow work. So journaling. as I shared some journal prompts of the root chakra in day 2. That way you can get prompts for all of the chakras, but again, work on one chakra at a time and let it integrate first. So if you work on your root chakra journaling prompts today, wait for about 15-20 days before going to your sacral chakra. So that's how you remove conditioning. And again, it takes time. And sometimes conditioning can also come back, and you will know when that happens, and you will know exactly what to do, right? So the next is, I'm confused with 3 journals now. How can I think you mean what to do with the third one, right? So 3 journals that you can keep, that I suggest you keep. One is the emotional dumping journal, where you dump all your negative emotions whenever you are in a very low state, don't know what to do, you're confused, just dump it all in the dumping journal without thinking what you're writing, right? And the second one is your positive journal or vision board or vision journal, or your planning journal, where you write all your positive affirmations, positive thoughts, your dreams, your plans for the future or present, or anything, any good thought that you come up with, you can write in your positive journal. And I recommend, after you dump in your emotional journal, open your positive journal as well and flip that immediately. Then we have the third journal is your me journal. In your me journal, you write everything you find out about yourself. So I have about 2 or 3 me journals because I filled all of them, and I started writing in them ever since I started my spiritual awakening journey, when all of these weird things all started happening all of a sudden. Past lives, people coming up to me on the street and just like holding me and telling me something weird, and things like that. So I just wrote all of that in the me journal, and I wrote what I found out from my past lives. I wrote what I found out from going through the Reiki experience, Reiki classes, what all happened during the Reiki classes, what all I learned, and what the teacher said about me, and then any readings I got, anything else that I found out about myself from astrology, and finally, what all I found out from my human design. So that is all about you as a person and as a soul, whatever you find out, and you can always go back to it. So there are times when I don't feel very good about myself, that I don't know if I'm capable of doing this. When you lose confidence or when you lose touch with yourself, you can always open your me journal and see everything that you had written before, and see that yes, I am this person, so yes, I can do things with confidence. I wrote everything in the journal to keep my privacy too private. Yeah, you can write everything in one journal, but I feel that you get a lot distracted. And also, since you use a particular journal for dumping all your emotions, then negative emotions, then, it can carry a lot of that negative energy. And if you are writing your positive stuff, you're planning in the same journal, I feel that it's kind of, mixing things up a little bit. And words carry energy, and that's because the universe is vibrational. What else is vibration? It's sound and written word. So words carry energy. So that is why I said keep your dumping journal separate. And also, while you are writing all the positive things, you don't want to go back and read all your negative things at once as well, right? So let me go to the next question. So Gorgi says, when I look back at my life, it is my parenting things. I guess you're talking about your human design. When you saw your human design, you could relate it to the things that happened in your life. I usually wake up from sleep due to this thought, okay? And clapped because the report shows my ability of catching others' emotions so accurately. That is so great, because your experience got validated, right? So before you might have thought that perhaps I'm crazy, perhaps this is not this is a sin, like this is um, a disadvantage that I have in the world. But no, this is actually your superpower, because people lack empathy. That is the whole reason for every kind of mess up that we are facing in today's world. But you have empathy, and that is a great thing. And when it gets validated from something like human design, you can embrace it even more openly, right? Is it okay to label our emotions as positive and negative? So again, at the beginning of the class, I shared that nothing is positive or negative. We just label it depending on our experience with it. So nothing is right or wrong in life. Nothing is um, good or bad. Even the emotions that we face, I shared the upside down triangle, right? The level of consciousness of each kind of emotion. So the lower emotions doesn't mean that they are bad, that they are negative. It's just the experience that we are having with those emotions. We just don't like being in our lower emotions. That's why we are calling them negative, but they are not inherently bad. Okay, so the whole life experience, even the bad things that happen in the world, they are again, this people have a lot of controversial opinions on this, but inherently it doesn't matter, right? Everything just is. There is nothing good or bad. The universe created both the things, and it has created both the things for a reason. And ideally, if we go out of the earth planet, we will die. The universe is a very harsh place, right? Does that mean that the universe is bad? Of course not. That is how it is, right? So ideally, there is nothing good or bad, everything just is, but we just label things based on our experience with those things. So it is said one thing of keeping differences between emotions of mine and other people, otherwise I will get crazy. See, so you got so much clarity from your human design of how you can create a boundary between your own emotions and other people's emotions. And since you didn't perhaps know this before, there was difficulty, right? So is it okay if I keep journals like gratitude? Yes, definitely. Manifestation, definitely. Universe journal, my thoughts and my learnings and experiences. Yes, totally, totally. So you can have journals, totally as per your wish, but it's good to keep different things separate. So I know I'm asking too many questions. No, I actually enjoy your questions a lot. Very insightful, and they also get a lot of knowledge out of my brain as well. So Kanchan says, are twin flames real or not? I don't think they are real, but different people have different experiences with this thing. What my reasoning is, because I am a past life regression therapist and I have worked with so many people, and for some reason most of the cases I get are of romantic issues. So I have come across so many people who believe that certain people are their twin flames for XYZ reason, and they exist in very abusive relationships because of that. And when we go through the past life regression therapy program, they have 2 3 4 sessions. All of those sessions, they see, as an example, uh, they see that yes, this person has been abusing them or rejecting them, or uh, you know overstepping their boundaries, or not keeping their not respectful to them for all of these different lives. And then it makes no sense to continue being in that relationship in this life as well, right? So they choose to move on from that relationship. And that gives them an insight that they were not your twin flame from the beginning, and because of that label that they attached to this person, they were unable to move on from them, right? And it has happened in a small way with me as well. Before I have fortunately met so many good people in my life, and so many spiritually connected people. And some of those people, I would say, yes, your soulmates could also be your friends or family or teachers. So your soulmates doesn't have to be your romantic partner or romantic relationship. So in that way, I have met many soulmates in my life, and most of them were the opposite gender, and there wasn't always a romantic bond that was formed in those relationships, right? So in fact, most are pure friendship, platonic friendship, right? So like, can I rank those relationships as, in a rank and say that the top one is my twin flame? No, I can't do that, right? Even with my husband, like, there are a lot of similarities between our life before we even met, and the way we were thinking, the things that were happening to us, the kind of spiritual advancement we were having, the kind of experiences we were having. Like, there is a huge amount of similarity, shocking similarity between things that happened to us before we even met. And I could like come to conclusion that yes, this is a twin flame relationship, and you know, but I don't believe that even like a little bit, because again, attaching labels to relationship can blind us towards other things that there might be there, right? So again, souls cannot just be divided into two parts. Souls can be divided into multiple parts, and therefore I believe that there's nothing called as twin flames, but yes, there can be soulmates, because these are either your parts of your soul itself, or these are the people that you have already lived many lifetimes with, and you have already, worked on your relationship to that extent that it is naturally very conducive, very good with each other, right? So Gargi says, my twin is me. Whenever I have seen these readings, I resonate with myself only. Yes, then basically, then there is no twin, right? You are yourself, and you just know yourself that deeply. Can you suggest some books to read? About what? So I can suggest a lot of books. I am a huge bookworm about healing. So about healing, most of my knowledge that I've got is directly from teachers, from highly, highly experienced teachers. But if I have read books about healing, the number one book that I would recommend, that I call the life changer book, is Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss. And Dr. Brian Weiss is my grand teacher, meaning he is the teacher of my teacher. And his book was the one that I read at the peak of my spiritual awakening, and I got all the answers that I was looking for at that time. So definitely read that book. And then I went on to read all his other books as well. And other than that, you can read. So I am thinking about the book Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. I think that's how you pronounce it. But that book is more esoteric in nature. So if you want to dive deep into how enlightenment feels like, you can read that book. It's very good. So about understanding ourselves, yes, Many Lives, Many Masters is one book that will help you with healing, with understanding yourselves, understanding the nature of the universe, understanding past lives, understanding what we are here to do. And yes, Bhagavad Gita as well. And you will find many of the themes that are common in both these books. Yes, Autobiography of a Yogi. I have that book, but I haven't read past, I think, 5 pages. I do intend to read this book in January. I will. It is quite heavy. Yes, it might I don't know, like I haven't read it, but I believe like from here and there I have had these inputs from this book come to me from here and there, and I have found that whatever people were talking about the book is mentioned in the book, I already know those things. So it might not be that heavy, but I don't know, I will see when I pick it up. Kanchan, what is death of ego? And whatever you have been feeling, all the symptoms relate to the point, relate to it, point to this term. How to come out of it is this feeling. So ego death or ego dissolution, as I call it, is a stage of spiritual awakening. So whenever there will be a huge awakening, by the way, there can be multiple awakenings in somebody's life. And whenever that happens, or any kind of growth, you can even apply this to growth in a career as well. Whenever you have to become a new version of yourself, you have to let go of your old version. And that old version is your old ego, your old identity. And that old identity identifies with everything that old person, that previous person, previous version of the person related with, and their beliefs, their self-sabotaging behaviors, their subconscious mind, how much ever they feared things, right? So whenever you have to become this new person, there has to be an ego dissolution. And that means you will exist in this place where you will not identify with either the things that this previous version is experiencing, or this person that is a new version, right? So you will exist in this in between space, which can be very scary sometimes, but it can be very empowering if you know that you are in the ego dissolution stage. And when you are in this stage, the best thing to do is to marinate in that stage. So basically, you don't have to try and come out of it. Don't have to try and come out of this feeling, because this is a stage where a lot is going to happen afterwards. So it's just like a metaphor. If you are pulling the string of the bow and arrow behind, like you are pulling it towards yourself, the most extreme like the pull that you are doing, that is where ego dissolution, you can say, is happening. So you don't want to just go there and just release. You want to stay there for some time, because that is the place when the universe adjusts for yourself. That is the place where the new energy begins to integrate into your body. Healing happens, release happens, traumas are healing, mindsets are changing, new beliefs are forming, and new identity is forming slowly, and all of these things are happening. So you need time to be in this space. And once you come out of this space, either by yourself or naturally, you will see that there is a huge accelerated growth that happens after this. So you basically want to prepare yourself, right? So I wanted to emphasize on the importance of having a teacher on your spiritual path, because when you are on this path, of course, there are not many people who are going through this uh, around you, right? Normally there won't be, but if you do have someone in your family who is advanced spiritually, then consider yourself very, very lucky. But if, let's say, there is no one, then you will be mostly alone on this journey, and you don't know what's happening, you don't know what to do on each stage. There are stages that everybody goes through, and with my experience and with the downloads that I get, I have written a book called Visions from Beyond. So I've mentioned all the stages that people go through when an awakening happens. And there are specific things that happen at each stage, and there are specific things that one needs to do at each stage, tools that you can use at each stage, things to keep in mind at each stage. And when you don't know these stages, then you just feel confused and lost. And when you have this knowledge that, okay, this is about to happen next, so I can prepare, I can take steps, so you become more empowered, right? So even if you go through some bad stuff during those stages, you can sail through very comparatively very easily with the base of that knowledge. So having a teacher is a must on spiritual awakening journey or spiritual journey as a whole. You go through different stages and you get different teachers at different stages. At least that's what has happened with me. When you are under a teacher, uh, you not only have someone to guide you, but you also have an example. So when you can look at them and see that they have done the things that you are going through, so you know that there is an example in front of you, so you can just keep your limiting beliefs on the side and take their guidance, right? And they can point out things, certain specific things in your journey that are very very what do you call it, customized to you, that are specific to you basically. So when you take the generalized advice, there is a lot of generalized ideas and guidance that is thrown around, but when it comes to your own journey, things might be different. There are nuances to each person's journey, right? So it is best to get one-on-one guidance or in a small group where the teacher can focus on your specific journey specifically. So I have had some people come to me. Unfortunately, they were working with TV programs, not with a direct teacher, or YouTube videos, and never sought any help from a teacher. And they ended up doing things, practices that they thought were good for them and that were taught as good and helpful and as simple as breath work and a certain kind of meditation, but it ended up pushing them into something called as Kundalini psychosis, which is when you do a practice that was not meant for your body, not yet meant for your body, or not yet meant for your energy, because you had not adjusted your body for that. And also, when you are meditating, when you are doing breath work, there are chemical changes that are actually happening in your mind and body. So if you don't have a teacher, a guide with you, a coach with you, then of course things can go south in many cases. So it is very important to seek a teacher when you are especially doing something very advanced or want to do something that is advanced, right? And a teacher is there to help you on every single step and to tell you if a step you might be taking. Of course, I will not stop someone if somebody is out there to learn from experience, but if there is something that is hugely wrong, of course I can point it out, right? I have one experience of my absorbing emotions. Once I had felt some anxiety and I was feeling my ex everywhere. I realized I was happy, so no need to worry about these emotions. But then I asked him because I needed validation, and he said he's anxious. Yes. So basically, you were still connected to his energy in some way, and you were channeling his energy, his emotions, and you were tapping into his emotions. And you can do that very naturally because that is your design. But you don't have to do it because it can be draining to you as well. So make sure you have energetic boundaries in this case. So Gargi says, I know which mentor I want and when can I afford it. That is great. So knowing that again is a great self-belief statement, and I really love that. I hope that I helped you in some way in these 3 to 4 days. Yeah, so that's all, and I really hope that this really helped you flip the switch inside you somewhere. At least something changed, something improved. And if there is anything that I can help you with, please email me. And yeah, so that's all. I can't believe that this is finished. see you around somewhere on socials. Have a very good rest of your day. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful life, and wish you a lot of healing. Wish you a lot of happiness, success, and self-knowing. Bye, everyone.